Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, January 11th. It is 6:23 right now. Market's going to open in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and then we'll get started shortly. So just a couple of things here to update. And we should be able to get started with our analysis real quick. More things here to update in the settings, and we should be good to go. All right, solid. Get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Zoom link is sent out. And I think we should be good to go. All right, so I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. So the volatility in the market is a lot slower today, guys, compared to how it was last week and the prior weeks. So I don't know if the change to 2550 is going to be feasible. Oh, you might have to go back to 1030, but I'll let you guys know, what I plan on using because the volatility just really died down today. So I'll give a few moments for people to make their way in, and we should be good to go. Hey, Kenny, how's it going? Morning. All right, I'll give you a few more moments for people to join in. Morning, Ruin. Morning, Saren. Morning, everybody. Morning, Maria. All right, guys. Good morning, guys. So looks like majority of you guys are here so far. Today is Wednesday, January 11th. It is 6:26 right now. I just took this trade pre-market. This is one of the entries that I saw. One thing that I noticed is that, the volatility here is a lot lower. So I had to go back to a 1030 split. Unfortunately, it's not a horrible thing, but it's a little bit of a tight move. Morning, William. Morning, Zach. Morning, everybody. Looking over here at the breakout 2.0. So looking at the 1 hour, 30 minute and 10-minute time frames over here, you guys can see that price is obviously bullish. The breakout 2.0 is obviously going to be a buy entry here. The thing that I'm a little worried about here, though, is that the fact that the volatility is so low that the TP stop loss is going to have to be a bit tighter. I don't know, maybe the volatility will pick up as we continue along with the market open here, but I think the 1,500 pip TP stop loss is just a little too wide. So you might have to go for a 1,000 pip TP stop loss. I'm worried though that if market does open, it'll be too volatile, and then the range is gonna have to be a bit wider. But I mean, we'll see what happens when the market opens in the next 3 minutes or so. Let me check the news real quick to see if there's anything that we need to be aware of today. Wednesday, January 11th, there is news at 7:30, which is crude oil inventories. And then we have the 10-year bond auction at 10:01. So there's not really much news going on today that's going to cause a crazy amount of volatility, but it's going to be kind of tricky to see where this ends up. So yeah, I took one trade over here. TFF is not doing, I'm tempted to take TFF off my copier right now because I took a trade last night. I made profit on all my accounts, and then it still gave me a $500 loss. And then I took one trade right now and it barely gave me any profit. So here are my profits for the day so far. I took that pre-market trade, locking 1,500 off my main account, 1,200 off my copier. 664 off my Inco, 160 off my MFF number one, 1,200 off my MFF number two, 1,150 off my MFF number three. With my TFF just keeps screwing me. So I don't recommend you guys use TFF at all. It's just not a good, they're not a good company to use right now. So you guys can see the profit difference across all my accounts right here. It's a pre-market entry I took here with a momentum scalp failure. And the volatility is starting to pick up. So I don't know, maybe the 2550 may work for us. So market is opening in about a minute, guys. Breakout 2.0 setup over here. Everything's bullish. 1 hour, 30 minute, and 10 minute is all bullish. Here is the setup for the entry. So, I mean, maybe we might have to use a 1,500 pip TP stop loss. So what I'm going to do here is I'm probably not going to enter right away, guys. I'm going to wait for it to kind of balance out a bit. And then from there, I will, I'll make a late entry. So this here's going to be the breakout 2.0, guys, if you guys want to take it. But as I mentioned, I'm not going to enter right away. I'm going to wait for it to possibly retrace because this opening candle right here is prior to entry is going to be a little large. So I might have to just use 1,000. I'm like in between 1,000, 1,500, but I think 1,000 is probably going to be the more ideal entry for TP stop loss. So I'm going to let it retrace a little bit. I'm not going to enter right away. And then I'm going to see where I can get in from because this candle here is kind of big. I'm going to wait for it to retrace slightly. Then make the entry. But this is a breakout 2.0 right here. I'm going to look for the initial breakout over here as well to see if we can find possible entry. So you guys can see candles dropping kind of heavy right here. It's a little volatile. See if I could still get into here. It's bouncing around a little too much right here. So it's going to be kind of difficult to make my entry if price doesn't end up retracing enough or if it just ends up shooting up pretty heavily. But you guys can see how it's kind of iffy right here. I'm waiting for it to retrace down a little bit because the candle or prior was just a little too big. So I'm looking for it to come down slightly. Before I make this entry here, I'm going to try to set a pending entry once it finally does retrace. MC4 is trying to set my TP stop loss here for pending, but keeps lagging. Okay, so there's not very much movement here. You guys can see there's a lot of volatility like on that pre-market candle, and then it just died down again right here. So I'm still waiting for it to retrace back a little bit, but I'm not able to, I mean, it's not really retrace. It's not doing anything right now, actually. It's just going back and forth. I don't like the candles right now at all, guys. If you guys can see these most recent candles right here, there's huge wicks on both sides. So there's like no direction right now. I mean, price isn't even retracing like it's supposed to. It's kind of just going back and forth. I'm going to see right here if the breakout's going to close out. So we're looking for a couple of things here. I'm looking for this to retrace back so I can get entry on this breakout 2.0. I'm also looking for the regular breakout over here to play out so that we can use this as a confluence for entry. There's the retracement that I was just anticipating. So it goes price retracing back a little hard. We have news over here at 7:30. Yeah, these candles right here are not that great. But the good thing here is that everything here is bullish. So everything here is bullish on the 10-minute, 5-minute, and 1-minute. The only thing here is that we need a buy signal here on the 5 in order to confirm the confirmation of momentum. All right, so price is pulling back just like I mentioned. I'm going to wait for it, and then when it comes back up, then I'll make entry for the breakout. All right, so I have a buy stop right there, guys. I'll take it as it pushes up, and then I'm going to do this right here. There's a retracement that I was waiting for. Breakout 2.0. And I'm going for 1,000 pips here, guys, not 1,500, just 1,000. All right. So this right here has a sell signal. It hasn't filled yet. Filled price is right there. So it doesn't look like we're going to get a breakout, regular breakout here to confirm. I mean, we might if we get another buy signal. There's a sell signal right here, so it's not necessarily going to close the way we want it to specifically. Let me pull up the momentum scalp failure. Momentum scalp variation, and this market's like very choppy. Not too much movement here for, you know, the breakout that we're looking for. But my order did get filled, so I think I got filled a little earlier, guys. So I'm looking over here on my MT4. I actually got filled lower, like down here. I think there was some slippage, and I just filled my order a little earlier. Spiked up and just filled me. So my entry actually came up a little lower, like right there. So I'm in the position, currently running in profit. I'll follow and see. So this right here wasn't a momentum scalp failure because the volume was actually above average. This is considered or this isn't even the breakout yet. So my entry is a lot lower. My entry is actually like right here. So I just want to let you guys know that I did put entry right there, but I guess price spiked up and then maybe the spread pushed me down a little bit, but I got in for a little lower entry down here. 1,000 TP, 1,000 stop loss. Lot size is 30, so I'm risking 1.5%, not really too much. So this is where my entry came in from, guys. I'm just trying to match it up with my MT4 so that I'm aware, you know, when it does hit whichever target we're looking for. There's no normal breakout here. There's just a breakout 2.0 that's currently running. There's no momentum scalp failure. There is, this might technically be a, so if this closes above the pivots, this will technically be a momentum scalp variation. But as you guys can see, the market is not really moving very smooth at all. It's kind of just going back and forth. There's like really no direction. Everything's bullish though. So I think, you know, overall price will eventually be bullish, but it's just not moving very bullish right now. It's kind of just going back and forth. Along where like opening price is at. Let me mark up opening price right here, so that you guys can be aware of the red flags. Obviously, you still want to keep in mind these red flags, you know, areas to avoid trades. This can be New York. Let me mark up the sessions. So, I mean, the key thing here, guys, is just using proper risk, right? You know, if you want to take these entries, that's perfectly fine as long as you're using proper risk. If you're taking a 1% risk, then this is going to, I mean, it wouldn't matter if like you reach your TP or your stop loss, because you're going to have enough, leeway to, you know, take any other trades after that. So like, for example, if you're taking breakout 2.0, you're only risking like 1% here. So if you're taking another trade, you're risking another 1%. You can take technically like 3 or 4 trades before you have to really worry about reaching your, you know, your max daily drawdown. So this right here is going to be a momentum scalp variation. Not one that I would personally take though, because, you know, obviously there's a red flag right there. So not one that I would take. I have to wait for price to actually push above it. So looking over here, confirm overall trend on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10 minute. Everything here is bullish, obviously. Bullish on the 10. Price is above the pivots, trend meter is green. Same with the 5 minute over here. Price above the pivots, trend meter green. Pivots are angling up. Lastly, here on the 1 minute, same thing. Price is above the pivots, trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. So with that said, this here would be Requirement 1, requirement 2, confirm retracement momentum signal on the 1 minute. We have the sell signal right here. Requirement 3, confirm price close past pivots and retracement on the 1 minute. Price did retrace below here. You can see the red candles. And then step 4, you want to confirm price close past the pivots in correction of the overall trend. So this right here would technically be a momentum scalp variation, but not necessarily one that I would recommend taking because it's like literally at the red flag right there, opening price. If you guys are not familiar with the red flags, I'm going to put them up right here. Red flags when to avoid trades when price is near sessions, opening price, news price, candle prior to entry is too large, or price is ranging. Right here, obvious red flag, price is near opening price. So if price was to hit TP, it would have to get past opening price right there, right? Ideally, I do think price will come up. You know, it's just price. There's nothing going on here. Price is just going back and forth. It's just a back and forth movement over and over again. There's not really much volatility here. It's kind of just bouncing back and forth. Volume is kind of high, but it's not to that point where there's any actual direction. Price just keeps going back and forth. So there's no entry right there, not one that I would necessarily take. And I'm just waiting for something else to come up here. If we get a buy signal next, that's technically going to be a momentum scalp. It's a regular momentum scalp. But again, it's going to be stuck in the same area because it's right at opening price. So we really need price to just get above this blue line right here. Once price gets above it, we'll be okay with entries. We just want to make sure it's not near it and it's not touching it. That's going to be the key thing to look out for here. So, yeah, Patricia said this always happens when we get a big push up pre-market. Yeah, I agree, Patricia. It kind of bounces around a little bit and then eventually it finally does get, you know, to that upside. But there's not really much movement here. As you guys can see, the breakout 2.0. This trade is supposed to hit right away. This isn't something you're supposed to hold on to for you know, an extended period. It's something that's supposed to hit right away. This is kind of what happened yesterday too. This trade was going back and forth for like a good, you know, hour and a half, and then it finally shot up and hit its TP. So, you know, as I mentioned, it's probably gonna be a matter of time until it reaches that point. This is my entry for the breakout 2.0. I got in a little earlier due to slippage. Price kind of spiked down, spiked up, filled my order, and then it spiked back down. So it's currently in profit right now. I'm profit about like 600 right now on my account on a 30 lot. It's pushing up higher. Here we are. We're finally above. Again, this is the entry right here, which would be for the momentum scalp. But as I mentioned, red flag, so we couldn't take this trade here. So looking back over here, this is the momentum scalp variation. It's currently in profit, running in profit right now. And then we also have another entry up here, which is technically the momentum scalp. I'm not in either of these right here, but I am in the breakout 2.0. So I do have a vested interest in this actually hitting because I actually want price to go up because I'm in this position right here. So I'm in this one right here, but I'm not in these two. I'm just marking them up to show you guys where entries were technically supposed to come up. However, due to the red flag prices, you know, too close to opening price right here, I did not take these two here. If the opening price wasn't there, I would have taken them because they're in alignment with my breakout 2.0. But it's just too risky of a move, especially if your TP stop loss is a little tight. So we're following these movements here. There's technically two entries running: momentum scalp variation, momentum scalp. Actually, I don't think there's a momentum scalp because there's no buy signal here on the 5 minute. So I take that back. The second one here is not running, but the first one here is running. And there goes the momentum scalp variation. Looks like it's almost at its TP. So if you guys took it, I mean, just a few more until price actually pushes. This is what I was discussing earlier too, guys. The volatility is very low. So if we were using the 1030 split, it would have hit TP a long time ago. However, I'm still using the 2550, which I think should be okay as long as the volatility picks back up. But you guys can see here that it is taking longer to hit because the TP is more than double what it typically is. It's usually only 100 pips. I'm typically going for 250 now to have that wider cushion for the stop loss. So price is pushing up. My breakout 2.0 is currently pretty nicely in profit. I'm in profit about 900 now, in profit about 1,000, profit about 1,500. It's going up to my TP. My TP is 3,000 profit. So it's watching that full TP on the variation right here. If you guys took it again, I'm not calling this as an official trade because I did not take it since it was, you know, obviously at the red flag right there. I am in this position though. So this is going to be my TP. It's going to be a little bit closer than what it normally is at due to the fact that I got caught in some slippage there, which is fine. So, all right, let me see. I'm just going to go and just give a little update right here for the momentum scalp variation for you guys who took it. I didn't take this trade here, but I think some of you guys here did. Let's see. CT said we need a buy signal in the 5 minute. So CT, for the momentum scalp failure, do we need alignment with the momentum like we do for momentum scalp? I'm just want to verify it so that if that's the case, I'm going to change the requirements here. I'm going to add that requirement so that we don't get confused with the entries. Hey Gary, how's it going? Morning Gary, morning Jay, morning AK. All right, so I'm just going to post it up right there. Post it up right there. All right. Patricia over here took the trade as well. She's currently up 3,885 for the day. Nice work, Patricia. So solid work right there. Yeah. As C6 said, breakouts nerve-wracking, and all these memes right here. Rashida over here, nice profits for the day. Rashida took both of the trades. Total profit of 1,147 for the day. Nice work, Rashida. 2 wins, no losses. And then her second account over here, she's up 986 for the day. Nice work, Rashida. All right, solid work so far, guys. If you guys have profit to post up, feel free to post them up. Otherwise, Christian's asking the same question I just asked, Christian. So we're waiting for CT to respond. CT is the one that created that strategy. That's why I'm asking him specifically if we need to wait for that so I can change the requirements. So yeah, I have the same question you do. Once he responds, then we'll have an actual answer for it. Let's see. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So for the momentum scalp, we do need the buy signal. I don't think we need it for the momentum scalp failure, right, CT? Just want to confirm with you. Yeah, because the only strategy that we need the momentum on would be for the momentum scalp. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so we don't need that buy signal for the momentum scalp failures, Christian. The only strategy that we need momentum on all three is going to be the momentum scalp. For momentum scalp failure and momentum scalp variation, it's not necessary. All right, good to know. Anyways, there's another possible momentum scalp failure right here. The only problem, again, is that it's at the opening price. Didn't close either, so nothing there. Will said my lot size now 15, going for 150 on the things are good. Slippage in his favor. Nice work, Will. Yeah, so Will over here lowered his lot size. He's going for a 25K count, total profit of 214 for the day. Nice work, Will. Yeah, so it's up to you guys whether you want to use a tighter stop loss in TP or not. If you guys want to use a 10-30 split, you guys can use that if you like. It's hard to tell right now because the volatility is going back and forth. Volatility on Monday was super high. That's why we adjusted it to 25.50. Volatility yesterday was super low. So we took that trade yesterday. Some people took it with a 100 pip TP and it hit their TP. I took it with the 250 pip TP and it literally missed my TP by like 4 pips and then it just reversed. So we got to play the market as it goes, and we'll see where it ends up playing out, because we just can't predict if the volatility is going to die down. I think the market is just kind of slow right now because we have inflation news coming up tomorrow. Yeah, right here on the 12th, we have CPI, core CPI, monthly CPI, and yearly CPI, and unemployment claims. So tomorrow we're going to have heavy news. So I think volatility will pick back up. I think a lot of people are just sitting out the market today because they don't know what's going to go on with the news tomorrow. I think market will be bullish tomorrow because Powell spoke yesterday and it was bullish. He kind of gave some insight as to like what news is going to come out on Thursday. And I think it's going to be bullish. So, Yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys. You guys can use whatever TP stop loss you want. Currently, I'm going to stick to 25.50 at the moment until I can get, a better understanding as to like what direction, price will be going and how much volatility will be, really backing up these moves. Right now, the volatility is not high at all. So it's kind of annoying because you're in this position for a lot longer than you should be, especially for a scalp. Typically you want to be in and out within like the first two candles. And then unfortunately, you're going to have to be holding on to this for a few more candles on top of that. So at the moment, guys, there's no entries for us to take. Price isn't really going anywhere. You can see it just keeps pulling back to opening price right here. Breakout 2.0 is still running right now. I'm still in profit, but it is not really doing too much. It's kind of just going back and forth. This entry here it should have pushed at least one direction or the other. Typically on open, price will push at least 1,000 pips or even 500 pips. It looks like price hasn't even pushed like 500 pips yet. Or it looks like it did, maybe slightly, but not very much, like barely any. So market open right here at 6. Yeah, actually price hasn't even moved 500 pips yet. So this is a 500 pip move. Hasn't pushed up 500 pips. And it also has not pushed down 500 pips. So the volatility right now is very, very low. It's not really moving too much at all. It's really just going back and forth at the moment. Again, we're right here below the opening price. It's just going to be difficult for us to take entries because we keep getting close to these red flags here. There's a lot of entries that keep coming up right here, but unfortunately we can't enter them because they're going to get stuck at the opening price. All right, so we just got to wait again for this to come back up, basically above opening price. It's a little frustrating, but it's all right. Let me check the news real quick if there's anything else. There's nothing coming up. We have news at 7:30, which is crude oil inventories. That's about it. Let me check the Forex pairs real quick. I don't think there's anything here to take either. So there's a couple trades here that ran from last night, guys. This odd USD. I wasn't able to call this because price was already up when it retraced down. I didn't have enough opportunity to get in at entry price. So the odd USD trade that ran last night, I was going to call this as a signal. It did hit TP. Euro USD as well. This one over here kind of shot up and then it dropped back down for entry at midnight. I was already asleep. Unfortunately, this one also hit TP. G over here. This one here didn't even play out. I was waiting for this. I was waiting for a lot of these trades to play out, but none of them really played out. A lot of them were actually successful, like this NZD USD trade. Glad I didn't take that trade because I would have hit stop loss. USD CAD. This one over here is technically still running. But I'm not going to call that for a late entry. It's just not a good entry right now. And then USD CHF. So there hasn't really been too many Forex trades, guys. Market's been kind of slow. It's going back and forth. Same with US30 over here. Nothing's really going on, right? Price is going back and forth. It's just a lot of back and forth movement. Right, T, how's it going? T said every day I'm hustling, 100%. Yeah, we just got to wait for this to actually have a direction, guys. There's like no direction at all. So technically, you could have considered this a momentum scalp failure, but again, the TP would have to be right at opening price, which makes it risky. Everything here is still pretty bullish though. So I think price will swing back up eventually. It's just a matter of time until it does, but I don't know, there just isn't much direction here. Lots of ranging. This is probably considered just a big range right now. You go and just mark this up here. So price realistically is just ranging between like wherever it pushed up to up here and down here. It's not really much going on. And the range isn't even that wide. So it's not necessarily a range you want to trade in if you see anything here. See, the range right now is currently 840 pips. So as we wait for something to actually happen here, I'm going to go ahead and just take a screenshot of my pre-market profits real quick. I took 2 trades here. Yeah, you'll see pretty much all my accounts. hit some pretty decent profit. So here is my main account. FTMO copy, and you'll see my TFF is like super off, which is, obviously a given. I don't know what's up with TFF, guys. Sometimes they're okay, sometimes they're not. Most of the times they're not. So I definitely don't recommend them to any of you guys. Okay, price is kind of dropping a little bit here, but it's bouncing off the sessions. If that becomes the case, then it's fine because we'll just start looking for sells. But I don't think we're going to have that shift anytime soon. I think a lot of this movement is happening, prior to the inflation news, because obviously they want price to come down if they're going to spike price super heavy up tomorrow. So let's see where this ends up playing out to, but we're still looking for any of these scalps to come up. There's just no scalps for us to take because price needs to pull up above the opening price. Hoping the news later pushes price up. I mean, who knows? All right, here are my profits. Let me post them in the group real quick for my pre-market trades. And my Hanko account right here. All right, so let me pull up a Telegram real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and post up my individual profits real quick. Man, there's really nothing going on with US30 right now. So, I mean, it's pretty much just going between opening price and the sessions right here. You can see where price bounced off of directly off the session. This is why we don't take trades around these areas. Because if, for example, if you're taking a sell here, trying to chase a sell, you can see how price bounces directly off the sessions, right? When price comes back above here, you can see, you could assume that price might bounce directly off opening price, or it might break above. It's just not a good area to trade. So basically any of these horizontal lines, guys, across the screen, the blue line, purple line, green line, or red line, or even pink line later when you have news, those are areas that you guys want to avoid because you get a lot of manipulation there. There's like a lot of uncertainty when price gets near these points. That's basically where all my red flags are. The sessions are going to be the purple, green, and red lines. The purple is going to be the Asia high low. Green is going to be New York high low. Red is going to be London high low. Blue line is going to be opening price. It's going to be right there at all times. News price is going to be pink. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, whenever price is ranging or when candle prior to entry is too large, which is kind of what happened with the breakout 2.0. So here are my profits so far on my trades prior. This is my main account. You can see the green strip because it hit my TP. Took this one last night, closed out a little early. It was a momentum scalp failure. Market volatility was just too low, so I pulled out early. This is the one that I took earlier today. Logged in 1,300. So total profit of 1,570 off my main FTMO. Here's my FTMO number 2. About the same profit, total profit of 1,270. Here is my MFF number 1, locked in 1,160. Here is my MFF number 2, locked in 1,200. MFF number 3, locked in 1,150. And then here's my TFF. As I mentioned, I keep getting screwed on TFF. I don't know what's going on. Like they gave me negative 500 off the first trade, and then I got only 600 on my second trade. I'm assuming that they're executing the trades late because that's the only thing that I can assume here. Or I don't know what's up with their servers because I'm looking over here at the timestamps. Timestamps are the same. It looks like their price. I don't know what's going on. Like something's going on here with TFF TFF, because right here I only locked in 600 and the times are about the same. So the thing with this entry here is that I should have made more profit because price was still pushing up. So even if they executed late, I should have made more profit on this trade. So exit was at 14.1805 and my TFF or my MFF 16.1802. So the execution time was like off by like 3 seconds. So you guys can see this is 1803. This is 1805, but my MFFs over here closed me out at 1804. I locked in 1020. They still locked me out at less, or closed me out at less, 600. So I don't know what it is, but I don't recommend TFF to anybody. I'm just gonna keep using them until whatever happens to the account, but I don't plan on getting another one with TFF. They're just not reliable with their execution times. Here's my Hanko account. I got 664 on here, so not too bad. But yeah, this is pretty much all of my accounts so far. I'm still running the breakout right now, but I mean, we'll see where this ends up playing out. CT said failure is tough in a sideways volatile market. Yeah, I agree, CT. I mean, it's just not, I mean, there's nothing right now that's really playing out. Price is really just going sideways. Breakout 2.0 still running. There's just nothing to really take right now. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I can pretty much answer whatever you guys need help with. Otherwise, there's just nothing for us to take right now. Everything is still bullish. The 10-minute here is still bullish with regard to the trend. 5-minute here is still bullish with regard to the trend. The main difference here is that we just don't have momentum here on the 5. So in order for us to have a momentum scalp entry, we need a buy signal to come up here on the 5. And then we also need the 1 minute over here to swing back up into a bullish trend. So everything here is bullish, 10-minute and 5-minute. However, the 1 minute here is currently bearish, but it looks like it might be just shifting back up. It's just going to be, obviously a matter of time until that actually happens. So, I mean, I guess we'll see where this goes, but this is like an extremely slow market for open. So I think my assumption is proper. I think, a lot of this is just being slow right now because the inflation news is coming out tomorrow. I think a lot of people are just sitting out the market. Institutions and market makers, they're not really pushing price around because they're really the key players in the market who really push price around. We don't have any real news today aside from crude oil inventories. This is going to affect the market. I don't think it'll affect it too much, but it will affect it to some extent. At 10 o'clock, we have the 10-year bond auction. And then tomorrow we have the real news. So tomorrow is like basically Fed day. We have Fed member Harker speaking, CPI monthly, CPI yearly, core CPI monthly, unemployment claims, natural gas storage. And then I think we have more Fed speakers tomorrow as well. And then on Friday, we have prelim UOM consumer sentiment, some more inflation news right here. So we just have a lot of news coming up in the next 2 days. So I think the market may be a little slow today for Wednesday, but then it'll pick back up on Thursday and Friday. Let me check my FX book to see if I'm missing anything over here. No, there's just news at 7:30, a lot of oil news coming up, and then the 10-year or 17-week bill auction at 8:30, and then the 10-year note auction at 10 o'clock. But overall, there's not really much going on today with regard to news. So I think price may stay a little flat, throughout the session. Not like flat, but it's just going to be a rangy market, not really too much of direction. I think price will correct back up to opening price. It's just going to be a matter of time until it does that. And then I think probably throughout the day tomorrow, price may be dropping because I'm expecting a bullish push tomorrow morning with regard to the inflation news. Yeah, I think price may continue to be bullish today. And then I think during Asia session, price may drop a little bit. London session may drop a little bit. And then I think news tomorrow at 5:30, pre-market, inflation news right here. This is really going to push price up. It's just going to correct it back up. So I'm expecting a drop to happen from now until, maybe not now, but after our live session. I think price may drop down to like this area here. And then tomorrow I'll just shoot right back up. But there's not really much to look at. I mean, this market sucks. Let's see. Peter said, like you said, stocks rise. Yes, that's what CNBC basically just announced what I just said to you guys right now, right? So on CNBC right here, it says stocks rise as investors await inflation data. Nasdaq attempts 4-day winning streak. So I mean, yeah, for the most part, stocks are just not really doing too much. They're going up and they're coming back down. And then I think eventually tomorrow they're going to spike right back up to where they're supposed to be. Where price is supposed to be up here. So, obviously I'm seeing a correction in price probably by tomorrow. But I think for now, price is kind of just going to bounce around, not really do too much, because the volatility here is like nothing. If you look right here where price is ranging at, it's only ranging like 300 pips, which is like literally not much of a movement. Like for New York Open, it should be moving a lot more, at least 500 to 1,000 pips. But the current range right now, right here, where it's currently at, is not usual at all for US30. Yeah, it's only moving about 300 pips, which is barely any movement. But so what might happen here is with price going sideways like this, it's preparing for a breakout, right? Whenever price starts to consolidate like this and starts to squeeze, it's just preparing for price to break out to the upside or the downside. So yeah, whenever you guys take trades, guys, just make sure you're using proper risk so it won't really affect your account too much, whether you win or lose. You just want to make sure that you're like in that middle ground. So pretty much all my trades, I'm only risking 1%. So if, whatever happens to any of my positions, I'm not really stressed out about it. I'm kind of like whatever about it, because I know the next trade will just, it'll cover whatever happened from that previous one. So using proper lot sizes, proper risk management is really key, especially trading during these uncertain markets. Like Monday was a great day. We had a bunch of trades that happened right after each other and they were straight wins. But yesterday was kind of choppy. We got caught in some some unusual movement. And then again today's just like yesterday, a lot of unusual movement here. There goes that breakout I was just warning you guys about. So you guys remember I mentioned when price starts to squeeze like this, it's going to break out one way or the other, which it broke out to the upside right here. That's typically what happens when price starts to squeeze like this. So that's always something to look out for. The 5-minute here still hasn't provided a buy signal. Let me go ahead and turn on my alerts over here so I can be aware when momentum does shift, because it's going to be key with identifying, if that shift is starting to correct back to the upside. So let me go over here to the 5 and 10. All right, so got a pending signal here on the 10. The 5 still don't have that buy signal yet, but we are finally getting that push back to the upside. Let's see, Kenny over here just sent me a link. Would you send me, Kenny? So it says live GOP to unveil constitutional amendment that would prevent court packing. But man, McCarthy comes into House one day and then they're starting to roll out all these new laws and stuff. But thanks, Kenny, for this. So yeah, there's something going on behind the scenes. I don't know what they're discussing, but hopefully, it doesn't affect the market too much. Other than that, I don't think there's any other news today. Let me check CNBC real quick. All right, so looking across the board over here, the Dow is currently up almost 100 points. S&P is up 20 points. Nasdaq's up 73 points. Russell 2K is up 13 points, and the VIX is up, 0.20 points. Everything's up right now. Everything's bullish. Seeing if there's any news here that we really need to follow. I mean, aside from the news that Peter sent us earlier, this one, same news event. I don't think there's anything here that we really need specifically. Yeah, nothing there specifically. Close that. Yeah, I don't really see anything here. Let me check the news for the Ukraine war. U.S. Army delivers tanks and vehicles in Europe to beef up NATO frontier. Yeah, I mean, it's the same old. Nothing's really. Nothing's really going on. Did Trump donate his presidential salary in 2020? Tax returns don't tell the full story. All right, so there's not really much news going on. Let me go back to the charts real quick. Breakout 2.0 is swinging right back up into profit, which is a good thing. But I mean, overall, there's still nothing going on. So price is pushing back up to opening price. This is pretty much what I just said earlier, right? I was mentioning, okay, price probably gonna bounce off here, and then it's gonna come back up to opening price. But the thing you wanna be careful for when price reaches this point is whether price bounces off opening price or breaks above. I'm hoping it breaks above because I'm still in this breakout. I'm kind of tempted to just pull out of it at this point because I hate holding on to the breakout for that long. This breakout typically should be hitting right away. So if we go back to the breakout from, let's say, Monday. So this was the breakout on Monday, right here at 6:30. If you guys remember, this one was a really nice move. Yeah, this right here was the breakout from Monday. It's pretty smooth. Let me check this real quick. I mean, it wasn't really that smooth, but it was smoother than today. So you can see from Monday, it kind of like retraced down a little bit, but then eventually it came back up. Let's see what time did it hit. It hit about 7:40. So actually, I guess it's kind of moving in line with how the breakout moved on Monday. 7:10. So this is about the same time, but it was like deeper in profit at that time. The breakout 2.0 on Tuesday, which was right here. This one was super choppy. So this is the breakout 2.0 from yesterday. I think for this one, it was like 150 because the volatility was higher. So the breakout 2.0 from yesterday actually hit around this time, 7:10. So yesterday was actually a lot faster. It was more volatile and choppy, but it hit quicker. So I think today's breakout is moving kind of similar to Monday's right here. It did take a while for it to hit, but eventually it did hit. I think the breakout on like Friday was super smooth though. So this one was the one on Friday. So this is how the breakout is supposed to hit. Market open right here. And it literally went straight to TP like on the first candle. So this is how the breakout's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to be holding on to this position for like an hour. You're supposed to be holding on to it for like maybe 10 or 20 minutes, and it's supposed to hit. So this is typically how it's supposed to hit. Went straight to TP. And then actually this was Thursday, full TP. And then on Friday, I don't think there was a breakout on Friday. Or actually, I think there was maybe right here. Because it was NFP, so we didn't take the breakout. But here are the past breakouts for like the past 5 days. All full TPs, right? So breakout from last Thursday, full TP. Breakout from last Friday, full TP. Breakout from Monday, full TP. Breakout from Tuesday, full TP. And then we have this one over here currently running. But it's just moving so slow. It's just kind of annoying. You know, you can see over here from Friday, this thing pushed up pretty quickly. Actually already hit, I think on like the third candle or something. Yeah, so the TP hit right here at 740. Actually, the entry was like over here. Yeah, we didn't take the breakout on Friday because it was NFP, but everything else typically hits like within the first couple candles, which is like 10, 20 minutes in. This one, we've been holding on to this one for about 40 minutes now. So it kind of defeats the purpose of it being a breakout because you want this to hit right away. Here we go. As price starts to swing back down. Not really much movement here. Lots of back and forth. Nice. Yeah, Camo said he caught the buy at 333, 777, was going for 500 pips, but he got out at 400. Yeah, probably smart idea there, Camo, because there's not really much going on. You probably would have been holding on to that position, or it would have been back into drawdown if you were holding it for, you know, the full move. Let's see, Rashida's asking if we would have took momentum scalp on the 10-minute for the same move as the breakout 2.0, it would have hit TP, but it would have would have to be entered pre-market. Yeah, I saw that too, Rashida. On the 10 over here, this one, which is like, you know, it was a lot earlier than I would have wanted. But yeah, if that was the case, it would have hit TP. Yeah, I don't like holding on to bigger positions pre-market because when the market opens at 6:30, typically you're going to get a big move at that moment. But it was very bullish. So like, you know, looking at that pre-market move right there that Rashida was looking at, everything was bullish. It was bullish on the 10, bullish on the 30, bullish on the 1 hour. So it could have been an okay entry. Just you know, obviously just a little risky, but yeah, I don't like putting things at chance. Anyways, we don't have anything to take right now, guys, because price is still below here. In order for us to take any buys here on the 1 minute, we need price to be above, right? We also need a buy signal to come up here on the 5. So until we get a buy signal here, we won't really have opportunity to take that entry. Looking back over here on the 1 minute, we won't have any opportunities for buys until price pushes above here, because we can't confirm a bullish trend until that happens, right? So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. You know, it's just, we're going to get a lot of this back and forth movement for a while. And I don't think this is going to really confirm until we actually get a push above the opening price. So I think the key thing to look out for here is for price to close above this blue line. Once it closes above this blue line, we can confirm that, you know, price is probably going to continue pushing up higher. But I mean, even for a sell here, we can't look for sells yet until these here confirm that price is actually going to continue down lower. So the 5 here can still swing back up. The 10 here is still bullish technically. Hasn't even came below the pivots yet. So, and here we go back with the 1 minute. It just, you know, it came right back to the sessions below here. It's basically a quadruple bottom now at the bottom right here at the sessions. You can see how many times it's tested it. Hopefully this will be the rejection that will push price all the way back up. But there just isn't much going on here. You can see price has tested the sessions right here about 4 times. This red candle right here, 1, this green candle here, 2, this green candle right here, 3, and then this red candle right here, 4. So 4 times it's tested these sessions right there. 5th time it's tested it right there. So we'll see, you know, where this ends up going. But at the moment, there just isn't anything for us to take right now. Price is pretty much just going back and forth. Let me see if this closes below here. Then looking over here on the 5, like we would need the 5 and 10 to actually confirm below it, but I don't know. We'll see if it actually confirms. All right, price is dropping a little heavier right here, but I don't know if this will even hold. But even so, like we can't take any sells here, guys, until the 10-minute here confirms. So we would have to confirm it on the 10. We'd also have to confirm it here on the 5. You guys can see here that it's not really confirmed yet. Price can easily just swing all the way back up. So, and there we go. In the 1 minute, it's coming right back up. It's just a fake out. So let's see where it ends up going. I'm really just waiting for news to happen here at 7:30. I think 7:30, when this news happens, it'll hopefully push price one way. But there isn't really much going on in the market that's causing, or that's really a catalyst for any movement right now. The only catalyst I can think of right now would be the news at 7:30. That's the only thing that's coming up. It is low impact though, so I'm not expecting it to really do much. You can see over here this fake out. So this is why you don't want to trade again at the sessions, right? You can see how price faked out. It literally closed below. I'm sure a lot of people try to chase this sell here because they thought, okay, if price closes below here, it's probably going to drop. It did the complete opposite. It swung right back up. So here goes another example why you don't want to trade at any of these horizontal lines. These sessions here will save you a lot of unnecessary risk, because let's see how far this spiked up. So price dropped below here. If you were chasing this for a sell, you would have went like pretty deep in a drawdown, about 500 pips. And I think it's going to stop people out, because typically people stop loss to be around here. And I'm expecting this to swing up and just stop those people out who are chasing the sell. Let's see. Fern is asking, what are the session lines exactly, and why do they move as price moves? It doesn't move as price moves, Fern. It stays there. So these lines over here are these session high lows. That's why they're called Asia high, Asia low, because it's the high price and low price of the Asia session. Same with the green line over here. This is the New York high, and the New York low would be somewhere below because that's the low of New York session, right? So you see these lines over here, they have labels right here on the right side, Fern. See where it says Asia high? This is the high from Asia session of yesterday. This right here is a high of New York session yesterday. This is the Asia low from yesterday. This is the London high from yesterday. When it goes to the new day, it'll refresh and it'll give you the new Asia high and Asia low for the specific day. London is still running right now, so it hasn't updated. It'll update once it reaches, the turnover time. So they don't move. Like once they are set there, it's going to set the previous day's Asia high low or whatever session high low from the previous day. When we move to the next day, that's where it updates. So they only update when the next day changes over. But yeah, that's basically what these lines are. And that's why they're areas of manipulation, because typically a lot of, institutions and market makers and hedge funds and et cetera, they like to base price off the previous session high lows. Because like, for example, if you have an Asian hedge fund or Asian institution, right? They're only trading during Asia session. So, or for the most part, they're trading during Asia session. So they base their high lows off that session. And then same with New York session from yesterday, they base off the previous high or previous low. And that's how these here are plotted. So that's basically what they are. I just created the indicator to help so you don't have to do it manually, because it's just a lot of work if you have to go and mark up the Asia high lows and New York high lows and London high lows by hand every single day. So that's why I created that indicator to do it for us. All the indicators I create, guys, are for a reason, right? I don't create random indicators. You'll see sometimes people create hundreds of indicators and they're like useless, right? There's a lot of them that aren't even useful. All of my indicators here have a use. There's a reason behind why I created them. So I created these session high lows to prevent me from trading around those areas. I created the pivots over here for rejection points, identifying trend. Obviously, identify the trend mirror down here to identify long-term trend. Identify the momentum indicator here to identify where price is moving. So everything I create is there's a reason behind it. I don't just create stuff for no reason. Everything is created with something in mind. So as you guys can see, this is where price is being manipulated. This purple line. You can see it bounces, fake out, bounces, etc. So I think this right here will be like a pretty strong support area for price. I'm hoping it swings back up, which I think it will. Let's see. Let me see what's forecasted for the oil news over here. So crude oil inventories. So the prediction here is that it's going to be positive news. Previously, it was 1.694 mil. Their consensus is that it's going to be lesser. Lesser is better because it shows that the US is selling oil. The inventories are low, so it's being sold. It's good for the economy. So I'm expecting, well, if this ends up being the case and price ends up moving with it, I think US30 will push right back up. And that's kind of what's happening right now. So look at US30 swinging right back up from where it's currently at. We don't have a buy signal here on the 5 or a buy signal, or we do have a buy signal on 10. We don't have a buy signal here on the 5, so we can't take this as a pivot, a momentum scalp. This right here wouldn't be a momentum scalp failure because price was bearish at this point. Everything has to be bullish. So until price pushes back above here, we're not going to have a bullish trend on the 1 minute. And same with this momentum scalp right here. This right here is not going to confirm just yet an entry because the first step for pretty much all the strategies here had not been satisfied. Right? Confirm overall trend on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute. It's still bullish on the 5 and 10, but the 1 minute over here is not bullish yet. Same with the momentum scalp variation, confirm overall trend on the 1, 5, and 10. 5 and 10 are bullish, 1 minute not bullish yet. Lastly here, same thing, right? You want to confirm the trend. So until we confirm the trend here on the 1 minute, there's no entries available for a buy yet. However, the breakout 2.0 is still technically running. We're probably just gonna have to wait until news comes up right here at 7:30 for that bullish push to actually play out. Fern is mentioned. I think I confused the SR for the sessions. Yeah, those are completely different. Fern. SR stands for support resistance. So those automatically adjust when new support resistance is produced, right? So this is what you're talking about right here. You're talking about the SR right there. These automatically update. So like whenever price creates new support or new resistance, this will update. So if you guys are not familiar with this indicator, I don't really use it as much anymore, but it's still a good indicator. Like if you like to trade support and resistance, you guys can see right here that there's these zones that come up around the chart, right? When price moves along, you guys see how price pushed above there. It will create a new resistance once it's been established above. So new support right there. You guys can see there was nothing there prior. New resistance, and these here automatically plot. These are completely different from the sessions. Sessions identify the previous session high lows. All right, so there's still nothing going on here. I mean, this market still sucks. Yeah, there's not really much going on, guys. If there's any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat, guys. Otherwise, I mean, we're just going to wait until news happens over here. Hopefully when news will finally push price, right back up. But we don't have an overall trend here for all the time frames. Everything's bullish except the 1 minute over here. The 1 minute's actually bearish right now. You can see prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down, but this can easily just shift right back up. It's just a matter of time until that plays out. So yeah, if there's any questions, guys, feel free to put your questions in the chat. If there's anything that you want me to review, go ahead and drop your question in the chat. I don't see anything here for any Forex pairs. I typically only trade the major pairs, so I don't see any entries here. So there's not really much going on. I mean, the entire market is kind of slow right now. There's nothing really worth taking a look at right now because there's just nothing going on. Forex market here is pretty much slow, just going back and forth. US30 here is not really doing too much either. So you guys can see how price keeps coming back down to this purple line, right? There it goes for another rejection. So at this point, you guys can see how many times it's tested it. I don't think price is really going to get past it. It's just going to keep bouncing off it until it's time for it to shoot up. Hopefully when the news happens here in the next 4 minutes, this will actually push to the upside. But at the moment, we can just hope until we have some sort of confirmation. There's no confirmation for us to look at. This price just keeps testing this area now. It's tested about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's tested it 9 times. I broke through it here, but it faked out, shot back up, and then now it's going back sideways. So let's see real quick. Let me just copy these over to right there. So we got some profits over here. Let me check who's posted profits so far. Yeah, let's see. So Jack over here said, hello, TFF probably uses IC markets as provider. I noticed the same thing with them. Every position you open is -2 pips and every position you close is -2 pips, which in effect gives you the need to make 14 pips for the same profit as MFF and FTMO. If you close on TFF, you'll have -4 almost every time. Yeah, TFF is on some BS with this. So like Jack mentioned over here, he took a screenshot of IC markets and then with the other brokers. Yeah, he said exactly the same on TFF, always open and close -2. So I think true is not for scalpers. I agree. Yeah, so TFF is, it seems like it's not good for scalpers, but I mean, either way, because the other position I took earlier was for 210 pips, and I still locked in only 600. I mean, just overall, it shouldn't be the case with them. I know they changed to a new server, so that might be the case, but thanks, Jack, for a little breakdown there. Let's see, Jay over here posted some trades he took. So Jay over here is currently up 1,680 for the day. Nice work, Jay. Yeah, he actually took the drops below. Yeah, nice. He caught that as it bounced off this area right here. Nice work, Jay. Yeah, he caught the rejection right there, and then he wrote it down from that point. All right, we got news coming up in about 30 seconds, guys. Hopefully this news will push price in our direction. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to wait even longer. Let me go back to the 5. Let's see if we ever got that buy signal. The buy signal never came up here. 10 minutes still bullish. Everything's bullish though. So 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish. We need a buy signal here on the 5. Hopefully this will push price up when news comes out in the next couple minutes or so, but there just isn't anything for us to look at the moment. So yeah, guys, if there's any questions, you guys want me to analyze anything, or is anything you want me to review, just let me know. But at the moment, there's just nothing for us to take. Here's news price right here. I'm going to go ahead and mark up news price. It doesn't look like news is really pushing price up too much, or I mean, pushing at all. It's kind of just still where it's at. It's low impact news though, so I wasn't expecting too much of a move from it. But let me just refresh news real quick and see if there's anything here. There's not much movement at all. News was right here, crude oil inventories. Refresh that. Let's see. Still hasn't updated yet. News come in kind of slow today. So it was actually negative. Wow, there's a lot of it. So yeah, the news was a lot worse than they expected. So last month it was 1.694 mil. They were forecasting it to be a lot more positive, negative 2.24. It's actually positive 18.96 so it's worse than expected results, which is not good for our buy. But I mean, I don't think it's going to affect the market too much. That's a really big number compared to, I mean, if you ever follow news or oil news, typically it should be that's a big number. It's like they sold no oil for the entire month of January. That's crazy. One thing to look at here, let me go and check, because I remember yesterday Steven was telling us he was in an oil trade for a sell. I don't know if Steven's in here right now, but yeah, so price actually went up. I don't know if it hit a stop loss, because I remember he said stop loss was around like 73 something. Price did end up pushing up. It's not exactly where he needs it to be though. I think his TP was like still at 80 something. Yeah, he was in it for a buy, and I think his stop loss was somewhere around here, like 82, 83 something, or 73 something. But his TP was like so high that I was like, okay, this is not gonna play out until like a while from now. Yeah, let's see. CT said crude typically higher inventories this time of the year, less driving in bad weather. Also, reason gas prices have lowered. Yeah, no, and I agree with you too, CT. Yeah, but I didn't think it was going to be that much though, because that was like the inventories are super high. Like it's like I was maybe expecting like maybe 5 mil, because it was 1.7 last month. So it's just been like it's been like what, a month since then. I was expecting it to be like maybe 5, even 10 mil, but like 19 mil, it's a lot. But that's just how it is. Anyways, there's still nothing going on with US30. There's so if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I mean, US30 is still like bouncing around this area. Let's see if it goes down to the sessions here. If it does, it might just bounce off here, or it might just fake out again and swing right back up. It's 7:30 right now, so it's getting close to 8. Unfortunately, today was like probably one of the, I guess, slower trading days for this week. Monday was actually pretty nice. Yesterday wasn't too bad either. It was just a lot of choppiness in the beginning, and then it started to smoothen out. Looking over here for today, this has been pretty choppy like all day. Yeah, like looking at the market from yesterday here, you guys can see that it was kind of choppy until like started to smoothen out like around 7. It's 7:30 for us here though, so it hasn't really smoothened out at all. Monday was a lot better if you guys remember the market from Monday. Monday over here was like a pretty nice live session for us. So this was Monday trading session. It was kind of choppy like the first 10 or 20 minutes. And then after that, I just started moving very smoothly. And I think we caught like 5 or 6 trades going in this direction. Compared to yesterday was kind of the same, but then it tapered off like down the middle of the session. Today, there's just not really much. I mean, price did move directional here for a little bit, and then it just ended up, breaking through right here. And I don't know, it's just a lot of a back and forth movement. Like, for example, market opened right here at 6:30, bullish move, came back down, and it's kind of just going back and forth. A lot of this movement here is a lot of people piggyback riding off the oil news, because the oil news was negative. So a lot of people are hopping into sells right here as price continues to move along. I think our breakout 2.0 might have hit stop loss almost. If it does, it's fine. I risk 1% on here, so it's not really a big deal. Mine is still running right now though, so it's still there. But either way, this here would still only hit a 1% risk. So with that 1% risk, if I take 2 other trades here or 2 other scalps, which I was hoping to take, I was hoping at least we have one more other scalp here to take, but we just didn't have any scalps here to take for the day. Typically if you take 2 scalps and they win, it'll cover one of the breakout 2.0s because it's a bigger move. Same with like, one scalp losing here, you need 2 scalps to cover that too as well. So unfortunately, it looks like it's going to hit stop loss, which I'm okay with that. It's just going to hit that. And then I'll probably bounce back with it from tomorrow. So I should have pulled out earlier when price was back in profit, but I was expecting it to push up higher and hit, but it's all good. So this over here, unfortunately, this is the first loss for the breakout this week. Every other breakout has hit TP since like, I think Thursday. So breakout from yesterday hit TP, breakout from Monday hit full TP, there was no breakout on Friday, it was NFP. Breakout on Thursday over here hit full TP. Breakout on Wednesday. Let's see, Wednesday's breakout was, where was it at? Right here for a buy. All right, so the breakout over here did hit stop loss as well. So we've had all wins for the breakout since Thursday last week. What happens, you're going to have losses for these trades. That's why you have to use proper risk. If you guys are taking proper risk, you should have no problem, bouncing back from it. We had a win streak over here from Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 back-to-back wins, and then today a loss, which happens. The market here wasn't really moving smooth, so I was kind of expecting this to be an iffy trade anyways. I was hoping it would go straight up, but it didn't. It kind of went straight up and then it came back down. And then right here, based off the oil news, it dropped down pretty heavily. So it went straight down. And I wouldn't be surprised if it corrects back up and shoots straight back to the upside. Tomorrow we have inflation news. So I'm expecting price to be a little more volatile, hopefully better in our direction. But for this one right here, I'm just going to eat this one. And then I'm going, meet the loss. And then I'm going to move on with the next entries here if we can find one. But I don't think we're going to have anything from now until 8. So let me go over here real quick. I'm going to give an update just so that you guys know. All right, stop loss hit or breakout, fortunately. And I'll just put the stats here for this week. Two wins, one loss. Yeah, so for this week so far, we have one loss for the breakout for today, and then Monday and Tuesday are wins. So just want to give you guys that there so that you guys can be aware. Let me go and just clean this up. And let's now look for any possible scalps. If we can get one, hopefully before market close. I don't think we're going to get one before market close though, because this candle here needs to close on the 10 in order to confirm the bearish shift. And look at price swing all the way back up on the 1. So I don't think we're going to have enough time for this to actually confirm that it's bearish on the 10-minute. 5-minute over here is starting to shift down, but it hasn't confirmed yet either. Look at the price on the 1 minute out, swinging right back up. So we don't really have much of a direction here. In order for us to take any of these trades here, any of these momentum scalps, whether they be a variation failure or regular momentum scalp, we need to confirm the trend on all 3 time frames. That's going to be first step for all of these strategies. So I don't think we're going to be able to confirm that because I'm only trading till 8, and the 1 minute here is bearish. 5-minute over here is still neutral because it hasn't confirmed whether it's bearish or bullish. And then the 10-minute here is also neutral. There's no confirmation if price is going to stay below here or if it's going to swing right back up, which looks like is what's happening here. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like for our breakout over here, price is going to swing back up. I'm not going to re-enter the trade though. I'm just going to eat that loss and I'm done with it. If you guys are still in the position though, so say for example, you entered for a discount, I think price will eventually swing back up though. I think we just ended up getting caught in this news price over here. News was released here at 7:30. People just piggybacked on the news because the news was so bad. It was a lot worse than people were expecting. They were expecting it to be positive, and it was like completely opposite. It was like 20 times the opposite direction. They were expecting it to be -2. It ended up being 19 mil, and people just started to bandwagon onto that movement there. So yeah, if there's any questions, guys, feel free to put your questions in the chat. This is just one of those days where there's not too many entries for us to take here because of the movement in price. So here, I'm going to go ahead and just take a screenshot of my account for the day again so that you guys can see. I just want to be transparent with you guys. I'm still in profit for the week so far though, so it's not that bad. I did take a hit from this trade though. So this is, I did give away a good chunk of my profits for the week so far, but you guys got to keep in mind that it's still Wednesday. So we have Thursday and Friday to trade. A couple more opportunities to bounce back from it. All right. So let me just post my account over here real quick so that you guys can see. All right, so here is the all right, so here is my account right here. You guys can see I'm not really that far in the negative because I had the win from earlier and then I had the wins from Monday. So I'm not really that far down. This is why I always emphasize that you guys use proper risk with your trades, because you can see here I use a way smaller lot size. So I lost about, a little under 3,000 right there. I made some profit over here. So I'm only -1,000 for the day. It's not really that much. It's it's a given, it's cost of trading. You guys are gonna run into losses. So this is why it's important that you guys use proper risk whenever you guys enter any trades, because you want to make sure that your losses aren't that far below, right? For example, if I was over leveraging here and then I lost like 5,000, then I'd be negative 4,000 right now. I'd be in a deep hole, because for each when I'm making like about 1,500. So if I'm losing about 3,000 per trade, but then making about like a quarter, not even a quarter of that, it'll take a lot longer for me to bounce back. So it's no big deal. I just need one more. If I take one more scalp, I'm going to be back in profit if I could find one, but I don't think we're going to have one today. So typically per scalp, I'm making about 1,500. This year, obviously I get hit with slippage, but if I take another scalp, I'll make it back into profit. So I just need to have one scalp trade, and then I'll be back into slight profit. But it doesn't look like we're going to get one anytime soon, because there's no alignment of trend. So you look over here on the 10-minute, you can see price starting to swing back up, right? This is why we couldn't look for sells, because it's starting to swing back up on the 10, swing back up here on the 5. Let's see. Beats by Oro said US30 on a buy. Yeah, we were in a buy actually. Beats. Unfortunately, price dropped down here based off news. So news happened right here at 7:30. It was really bad news. So people start to bandwagon on it and it pushed price down. You can see the correction back up right here. Price is going to correct back up. I think what will happen here is I think price will end up coming right back to where it was prior to news. So my assumption here is that price is going to come right back to this area right here, this pink line. This is target price point for correction. This drop right here was based off the news price that happened. I mean, the one that happened right here at 7:30. So you can see the news happened right here at 7:30. It was crude oil inventories, very negative. Price, followed in that direction, and then now it's correcting right back up, because it shouldn't be down here. This is all manipulation. Price just ended up dropping down here because people wanted to chase the sells, and it gave them some volatility right there, some volume. But then now price is going to correct back up to where it's supposed to be, which is up here. Sorry guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. It's about to be 7:50 right now, so it's getting close to 8 o'clock is my cutoff for trading. Unfortunately, there were not too many trades we could take today because there was no direction for us. The 5-minute and 10-minute here were pretty much bullish all session until price started dropping right here based off the news. I don't recommend revenge trading, guys, because I know some of you guys here, if you took the breakout, you guys are probably thinking about revenge trading to get back into this position here and catch the correction back up, right? I never recommend you guys revenge trade. Only take a trade if you have your requirements met, right? For all these strategies over here, there's no requirements that are going to be met because there's no overall trend. So my advice is to, never revenge trade, don't overtrade. When you eat a loss, you guys just take that loss and then move on to the next one until you have an actual entry. If you guys revenge trade, that's where you're going to end up blowing your accounts, because even though I think price is going to come back up, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come up right away, right? I think eventually it'll come up, but maybe not right now. It might come up an hour from now, 2 hours from now. It might come back up tomorrow. But you should never speculate and just take a trade back in correction, because that's how the market makers get you, right? They're basically luring you in back into these buys, but then you don't know if price is going to come back down super hard before it ends up going all the way back up. So yeah, I never recommend you guys revenge trade into any of these movements here. It's just way too risky unless you have an entry. If you have an entry for a buy, then yeah, go ahead and take it. But there's nothing here for me specifically. All right. Yeah, if you guys need help with your lot sizing, just let me know. For me specifically, let me just see if I can. All right, so here are the lot sizes that I'm using on a 200K account. Let me just put them right here so that you guys can see. So I want to make sure that you guys are using proper risk. for your trade. So my lot size is for. So these are the lot sizes that I'm using for every specific trade. Each trade, I'm only risking 3,000, which is about a 1% risk. Or 1.5%, right? Let me just do the math real quick. Divided by 200,000. Yeah, 1.5%. So I'm not really risking too much, 1.5. If you guys are doing FTMO, you guys will understand that, your max drawdown for the day is 5%. So if each trade that I take is 1.5% risk, it's like I'm able to take like 3 or 4 losses before I reach that max daily loss. So I can technically take more trades if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. So these are my lot sizes for my FTMO account. Whenever I'm taking a scalp, like a regular scalp for 300 pips, I'm going to use a 100 lot. If I'm doing a 500 pip stop loss, I'll use a 60 lot right now. You guys can see I took that breakout 2.0 for 1,000 pip stop loss. You guys can see that my lot sizes vary depending on and I'm going to save this because I know some of you guys are going to ask for this in the future. My lot size changes depending on how much risk I'm taking in the trade, whether it be for a 300 pip stop loss, 1,500 pip stop loss. And if you guys have a different account size, all you have to do is just adjust it, right? It's not a big deal to adjust this here. It's like if you're using 100K lot size, just use half of what I'm using. That's like literally all you'd have to do. Yeah, so that's the lot size that I'm using, doing a 1.5% risk. If you guys are using 100K, then just use half of my lot size. Use a 50 lot for 300 pips, use a 30 lot for 500 pips, use a 15 lot for 100 pips, and use a 10 lot for 1,500 pips. So this right here, these two are basically for the breakout 2.0, and then these two are for the scalps and for the regular breakout if I do decide to take it. So this is why whenever I take a trade, it doesn't matter whether I'm taking the breakout 2.0, I'm still risking the same amount that I'm risking for a scalp. And then for a scalp, I'm risking the same amount for the breakouts. So if I'm taking like 2 scalps here and they hit TP, then it's going to cover my risk for a breakout. If I take a breakout, one breakout, it's going to cover a whole loss for a scalp. Let's see. Awab's asking, hey, Sean, have you heard of the smart prop trader? The CEO is Trade Connect VBS. No, I don't. I haven't. I'm just laughing because, like, I think CSIC might. CSIC here? CSIC, it's your buddy from YouTube. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know that one, but I know who that guy is, though. He was promoting like the funded trader, and then he had to apologize because like they were like scamming people in the beginning. So I don't know. I personally wouldn't trust it. I would have to go like I'd recommend you go and vet it first before you use it, because he's been known to promote like some bad products. So I don't personally recommend you. I mean, if you want to use it, you could go ahead and be the test subject for us, and you could let us know if they're legit or not. But I haven't heard of them, and I haven't used any products that he recommends. I noticed, I remembered like the past couple of years, he's gotten a lot of flack for like promoting like shitty products. So I personally don't want to use anything that he promotes. And one thing that you guys want to keep in mind too, is that whenever somebody's promoting something and they're giving you a referral link, they're getting something out of you. They're basically making money off you. So whenever you see anybody promote something like that, make sure that you actually vet the product, because most of the times the product is not good. If the product is good, typically that they won't be like paying people to like promote the product. So yeah, I can't really say exactly if they're good or not, whether they're good or bad. a while because I have no experience, but if you want to test them out and let us know, that would be cool. Because it's always better to know from someone that you actually know, and you're not learning from people who are like promoting it on YouTube. Because the people who promote it on YouTube are usually using an affiliate link and they're making money off the people who are signing up. So yeah, I don't have any information on that prop fund. The only fund companies that I'll recommend, guys, is FTMO and MFF. There's no reason for anybody to do anything else unless you've already maxed out your allocation on those two. That's the only reason I went to TFF, is because I already maxed out my allocation on both, my my FTMO and MFF. So I don't have any other options. TFF seemed like a good option initially, but they're not really that good. So I'm not recommending them to anybody. The only two I recommend is FTMO and MFF. Until you've maxed those out, there's no reason to look for anything else. Because you're not really getting much of you're not going to get much of a benefit out of using a discount broker or a discount funding company. Let's see. Patrick over here. Yeah, it's all good. Patrick over here, 8th loss as well for the breakout, but then he made a win over there. So just a small loss right there. He'll bounce back from it, Patrick, just like me. I think we both just need one scalp. If me and Patrick can get one scalp today, we'll make back that loss from the breakout. There's nothing for us to take here, though. I mean, price is starting to shift. So if this is the case here and price starts to shift below, then you can start looking for sells. But it's about 5 minutes from 8, so I don't think I'm going to be looking for any entries here. It's also right next to the session, so it doesn't look like a good area to be trading anyways. I'm probably going to save my capital for tomorrow. So if there's any other questions, guys, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Let me go ahead and so Anthony has a question here. He said, hey, everyone, new trader here. I have a question. I'm looking to get into trading, but I only have 20 minutes a day due to working 3 jobs. Try to trade with you guys here, but when you guys are live, I can't break from work. Any suggestions? Suggestions from Anthony. Let me ask him what time. Yeah, because I mean, it depends when you're free. Like Anthony over here said he has basically 20 minutes a day. So if he's got 20 minutes, I mean, depends on when those 20 minutes are, right? If you can trade during New York session, the ideal asset for you to trade. Time would be US30. Would be 6:30 a.m. 10 a.m. to yeah. So basically, Anthony here in the group, he mentioned that he only has 20 minutes a day to trade. If you can trade US30, which is the most ideal asset for you specifically, or anyone in general, because this asset moves fast, you don't have to be looking at it all day. As long as things align and you can find an entry, then you can find an entry between 6:30 and 8, or if not 6:30 and 8, you can find another entry between 10 and 11. So I think those are the best times. The reason why I think those are the best times is because you have some volatility between. So market opens right here at 6:30. So basically 6:30 to 8, this is where I trade during the live sessions. And then price starts to consolidate between like 8 and 10 sometimes. Generally, because people go to lunch around that time. This is 8:30. This is 8 o'clock our time, but it's technically like lunchtime on the East Coast where that stock market is located. And then between like 10 and 11 is usually where it picks back up. So yeah, right here would be a good time to trade. Right here is probably a downtime because it's just sideways market. And then another good time to hop back in would be like 10 to 11. I mean, if that's the only time that you could trade. Yeah, let's see. Jay over here said nice move, but he didn't take it. He's happy with his profits. Yeah, no, I agree, Jay. Probably the best option for you there. CT said stepped away. I'm not sure if you addressed it on the momentum scalp variation. There wasn't a 5-minute green momentum. Is that okay? You won the trade, which is good, but confused on the rules now. Here, let me check real quick. Momentum scalp variation. Yeah, because the requirements here. Yeah, so the CT's asked me whether the momentum is required on all the timeframes for the momentum scalp variation. It's not on the requirements here, but I think we should probably incorporate that because that does make it a little better. So I'll probably make the adjustment there. See if I could change it here. Trend and momentum. I mean, that's all I had to do. Just add a little bit to it. Yeah, thanks, CT, for the heads up. Yeah, it works better as a confluence. Let's see, Patrick over here posted his profits as well. He said, not going to press my luck in the market today. We'll get it tomorrow. Yeah, so Patrick over here took his trades. Luckily, it looks like he pulled out of the trade earlier for the breakout if he was in it, I think. So over here, he actually locked in 2,079 for the day. Nice work, Patrick. Yeah, so smart move there on your end. I was thinking about pulling out earlier too when price was back in profit, but I was just letting the trade run and it's all good. Small loss on that there. Dejan over here as well. So he pulled out of the breakout earlier too. So he locked in the total profit of 150. Nice work, Dejan. Yeah, so whether you guys hit profit on the breakout or if you guys hit stop loss, it's fine. As long as you guys use proper risk, you guys should be perfectly fine. Because if you take the breakout tomorrow and that hits full TP, then I mean, you should be fine. Technically, if you're taking the breakout here and you use the wider TP stop loss, so let me see, the trade would technically still be running right now. $630. Yeah, so if you use the 1,500 pip stop loss, the trade would still technically be running. I use the 1,000 pip TP stop loss. You can see right here for the requirements. It varies. It varies, depends on volatility in the market. Volatility was low over here. Typically, I go back to like London session. So London over here opened at, and it wouldn't matter if you're using a wider stop loss because you're going to be lowering your lot size. So the thing with this here is if I was trading based off like London session here, the range would have been wider, but when we look at the entry there, I just went for the 100. So the stop loss was kind of tight, but I mean, it's all good. So if you guys are still in the position, good luck. I think price will swing back up eventually, but it's not one that I'd recommend hopping into if you already got stopped out. I use a smaller TP stop loss and I got stopped out a little earlier. It's all good. It happens. But if you took the bigger TP stop loss right here, your trade would technically still be active right now. Hopefully it stays at this point until tomorrow. And then when the inflation news comes out, it'll just blast right through your TP. But if that's the case, we'll look for another entry tomorrow. All right, guys, I think that might be it for today. I don't see any other questions here. Let's see. Anthony said usually around 12 noon. He works from 6:30 to probably look. Seen a lot come up. Manage the risk properly. All right, cool. Yeah, so Anthony is basically, he said he's free around like 12 noon, and he was asking me like what he should use if he has the indicators. So I could even show you guys some examples here. Let's show you some quick ones real quick. So let's go back to 12 noon yesterday. I'm not going to trade anymore, but I'll show you guys some entries that came up around 12 noon yesterday. A question from, 12 noon my time, Maria. Every time I mention something, guys, it's going to be based off my time. Because we can't do 12 noon Eastern, because then that'd be lunchtime. That'd be this time right now, actually 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So around 10, it would be, or 9, it would be 9 o'clock my time. So whenever I mention times, guys, it's going to be my time, Pacific time. I'm on the West Coast, so it's about a couple hours behind. Let's see. Sorry, Zach, I just saw your question. Zach said I entered breakout late. Should I still hold on or just eat loss now? Down 2.3K. So what's your account size, Zach? If your account, if you're still like within 1%, I would probably just hold on to it. Because the thing is, like I mentioned over here, if you use the bigger TP stop loss, 1,500, then this might swing back up. I think eventually it'll come back up. I just had my TP stop loss closer. So like, unfortunately, we got stopped out of the position based off the news, because news happened right here at 7:30. Like literally, if this news didn't happen here, our price would still be up in profit. Well, not in profit, but it'd be up here, right? Because news happened right here. So if that news didn't drop price down, we would actually still be in the trade right now. So this was the news candle, or whatever the news candle is right there. So you can see right here, like price was right here, it was perfectly fine. And then the news happened right here at 7:30. And then it made price come down because the news was so bad. So you're on a 200K, I would just hold on to it, Zach, personally. If you go below 3,000 though, that's where your cutoff should be, because that's going to be like 1%, right? So if you're still in the position, I think it'll probably come back up. You could probably even get back out at break even. So I personally would hold on to it if I was still in a position. So say, for example, if I didn't get stopped out and I'm still in it right now, I would have held on to it. And then when price came back up to break even, I would have closed out for profit up there. I wouldn't risk it past that. So I would probably hang on to it, Zach, if you can. But just don't go past 3,000 risk, because that's 1.5%. You go over that and you're going to start to over leverage, and it's not going to end well if you end up getting caught up there. Anyways, let's go back to Tuesday real quick. I was just going to show you guys some entries around 12 my time. All right, so this was yesterday. I don't know if you're on here, Anthony, but so let me just show you real quick. Let's clean it up. So basically from 12 o'clock up until 1, price was bullish pretty much all day, right? Price was pretty much bullish all day yesterday. This is the 12 o'clock mark. If you can trade from like 12 until 12:20 or something like that, you can see that there's a momentum scalp failure entry right here that happened exactly at 12:22. So you can see right here, full TP, right? There's a lot of entries here that you could have taken between 12 and market close. One entry right there, full TP. You can see the candle right after it, this green one. This is a momentum scalp variation. If you took that one right there, another full TP. You can see there's a buy signal right here. That's a momentum scalp, regular momentum scalp, full TP. There's another sell signal right here, right after it, momentum scalp variation, full TP. The candle right here, right after it, this is a momentum scalp. This is a momentum scalp failure, and this is momentum scalp variation. Another full TP. You could have taken at least one of these here, and you could have hit your goal if you're doing a 3% gain. Another momentum scalp right after it, another full TP. So you guys can see there's a lot of entries that come up right here, like around 12. So if you ever want to trade, you just want to come back a little later after the market starts moving again. Typically I trade until 8. So look at where market moved from 8 up until 10, right? Where I was telling you guys I don't typically trade. So from 8 to 10, look how market is just going sideways, right? It's a sideways movement for like those whole 2 hours. You can't really catch any trades here because market's not doing anything. So I typically trade from 6:30 to 8. This is where there's a lot of volatility. And then generally I'm done for the day. If I really want to come back and trade, I'll come back and trade later in the afternoon around like 10 o'clock. Or not afternoon, but later in the day. So I'll trade from 6:30 to 8, have my profits there. This time right here, 8 to 10, not really the best time to trade. And then come back over here and I'm back, at like 10 o'clock if I wanted to trade, but you basically trade from like here until close. All right, so yeah, this is pretty much an example. I showed you all these entries that happen right here after 12. A question from Fern. Fern's asking, are the strategies less effective on or after 1300 Eastern? So 1300 Eastern, that's going to be 11. I mean, they're fine around 11, Fern. The only time they're not really good is because is around like 8 to 10, because that's when price starts to consolidate. So typically, we trade until 8 and then we stop trading at 8, but I don't recommend trading between like 8 and 10. And then you can pretty much pick back up later because people come back from lunch around this time, basically 10 to market close. I typically don't recommend entering like later in the 12-hour mark, because this is where, you start to get some weird movement because people are closing out for the day. So typically, this area right here would be good. There's a lot of entries that came up right here as well. From 10 to 12, there's a momentum failure right there, full TP. Price closed above here. So this is a momentum scalp failure, or no, sorry, momentum scalp failure right there, momentum scalp variation right here. And then actual momentum scalp that happened right after right there. So 3 back-to-back wins right there. If you were to take trades from like 10 up until 12, and then you would have been done towards the end. So yeah, the only time I'd recommend not to trade Fern is going to be between 8 and 10. That's going to be the time when price starts to consolidate. It's 8 o'clock right now, so obviously I'm not looking for trades. You can see that price is probably going to consolidate from now, 8 o'clock, up until 10. You can expect a lot of sideways movement. The reason I know this is because every time people trade after the live session, like the main thing I tell people to do is to not trade after the live session, right? And what happens? A lot of you guys still trade after the live session. And then I get messages from people saying like, hey, what happened here? And I look at your timestamp and I'm like, oh, you traded after the live session. And they're like, yeah, I know, I shouldn't have traded. And if you look at everyone's losses, like after the live session, it's typically around this period. So between 8 and 10, this is where a lot of people eat their losses. If they would just take a break, like for example, you trade till 8, take a break, do whatever you need to, like go to the gym, walk the dog, do something, come back at 10, then trade some more, and you'll have better luck trading later on in this period out here. Or not even luck, that's just how the market moves, because people go to lunch around this time. Let's see, it's 8:12 right now. So in New York, it's 9, 10, 11. People are getting ready for lunch, right? Price will probably move a little bit around 11:30, 12. People go to lunch. So like from like this period right here, 8:30 until like 10, this is when people are at lunch. So that's why the volatility dies down, because nobody's trading. People come back from lunch here and they wrap up the day. So just use common sense, guys, like with identifying, why the market's moving, why it's not. It stops moving around this time because everybody's going to lunch at this time, like the stock traders who are in New York. Okay, let me see if there's anything else here. Kevin said, hey, Sean, you should really consider putting additional funds in your Hanko account and killing it with them. I put 5K yesterday, the second account already doubled it. Nice. Yeah, Kevin said he takes those trades that you just went over every day. Yeah, I know. Usually Kevin will send me a lot of his profits while I'm at the gym, which is like around 10 o'clock. And he's just killing it. So yeah, no, definitely. Kevin is example of that. Yeah, Kevin said I've been taking momentum scalps for a long time. It's basically how I lock in so much profit every day. Yeah, they come up a lot too. They overlap each other. iPhone said, bro, it's finally going up. I know, right? It just had to stop us out. It had to stop me out right there at the yeah, it just triggered a stop loss too, guys. So like right here, for example, it just came down because of the news candle, which I mean, we just kind of expected. I mentioned that when news came out, it was either going to be in our favor or against our favor. It came down, stopped us out, and then here it is back in profit. So yeah, if you guys are still in this position here, I would probably hold on to it and I'd get out at break even if you don't feel comfortable about it. But I do think eventually it's going to correct back up and it's going to hit TP because our analysis usually plays out. Breakout's been hitting pretty much every day for the past couple of days. And I think that's about it. Let's see. Maria's asking, Monday will be a holy day. Let me check. Yes, you are correct. What is 16? I didn't even know it was a holiday, Maria. January 16th, holiday. Oh, it's MLK. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so it's a bank day on the 16th. Do not trade on that day. I've lost a lot of FTMO accounts trading on this day. Well, yeah, I lost 2 of my accounts. So for some reason, I feel like the day changes. I don't know if it's the 16th every year, but last year I traded on this day because I didn't realize it was MLK Day because I don't work, right? So I don't work a normal job. I don't know what the regular holidays are. So I was trading on this day and then I ended up holding a position and then I violated my FTMO because you can't trade over the weekend. If you trade on a holiday, even if the market's open pre-market, because the market will be open on Monday, it'll be open from like 5 until like, they close early, like at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. So what happened was I took a trade and then it hit like 8 o'clock and I forgot to close out. I ended up coming back. And even though I made profit on the trade, FTMO violated my account because they said I traded during a holiday. So whenever the market's closed for more than 2 hours, it's considered a weekend and you can't trade over the weekend unless you have a swing account. So I don't recommend trading on Monday at all. I don't even trade holidays at all anymore when things like this come up because I don't want to risk losing my accounts. So, yep, there goes US30. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, guys. We just got caught in like shitty news price, like news just spiked us out and then it's still currently running. So unfortunately, we got stopped out of that trade. That's why it's important that you guys use proper risk so that you don't really get emotional when you're in the drawdown. Because I only lost about 2,000 or 3,000 off that trade. It could have been a lot more if I was over leveraging. So, I mean, I technically could have let the trade run longer if I wanted to. I could have adjusted the stop loss because I was taking such a low risk, but it happens. Yeah, Karen said there's a 5-minute buy signal we've been waiting for. Yeah, it looks like everything is about to shift back up, guys. So we already identified price was going to be bullish today. And here we are. Price is back to being bullish, right? We just got caught in that, like, in the movement pre-market, which happens, but it is what it is. 10 minutes starting to be bullish again. 5-minute here is starting to be bullish again. We got that buy signal and the 1 minute here as well. I'm not going to look to take any trades here, guys, because I don't want to get greedy and then, end up making a lot of mistakes. But I do think price will correct back up. So if you guys are still in that breakout 2.0 from earlier today, I do recommend closing out at break even if you do have the opportunity. But it's all good. At this moment, I'm just going to let it be. We still have 2 days of trading. So I'm not going to overdo it and take any unnecessary risk, because the last thing I want to do is eat another loss and then have to, claw my way back up on Friday. So yeah, exactly. Patrick said sometimes you'll be right, Mark, will still make it wrong. Yeah, I know. I agree, Patrick, 100%. CT also mentioned MFF removed their spread volatility filter. So don't trade news with MFF. Now that's good to know, CT. Definitely something good to know. All right, guys. So I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, wait here, let me just check. We have another question from Glenn. Glenn is asking, how did you manage your trading psychology? Like, when did you stop revenge trading? It really happened after I started to lose. Like the thing that I always mention to you guys is that, once you get burnt enough times, you start to realize that something's got to change, right? So for me, Glenn, when I started losing a lot, or what would happen was that it would be a back and forth game for me, right? I would be making a lot of profit and then I would revenge trade, or no. So I would make a lot of profit and then I would lose a trade and then I would revenge trade after that, right? So instead of me just getting out at break even, I would end up being negative, and then the next day the same thing happened, the next day the same thing happened, and then at the end of the week I'm like, if I would have not revenge traded like those 2 or 3 times, I would have still been in profit at the end of the week. So for me personally, I think you just have to make a mistake enough times, and you have to get burnt enough times until you start to really realize that you're the problem, right? I think a lot of people, that's their problem. They don't want to take responsibility for their losses. Like whenever people take signals or they take the trades that we take here on the live, given that we don't lose very much, when they do lose, they try to revenge trade their way back. Like, so for example, like we lost the breakout here because unfortunately price spiked down, right? I know some people who will just revenge trade their way back into it. So like, for example, I took my loss here and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to eat my loss and I'll be done for the day. What I see a lot of people do is like, as soon as they lose, they hop in right away and then they're back into the position. Sometimes the trade will correct back up like this and then they'll be back in the profit. However, sometimes price will just keep dipping lower and lower and lower, right? So there's no one way to really get over revenge trading. You just got to really, or another thing that I did was when I would lose a trade, I would just stop trading for the day. Like for today, for example, I lost my trade, right? I had some wins, but then I lost this trade. After this, I was pretty much done. I'm not taking any more trades. If you need to, turn off your MT4. Like that's what I've been telling a lot of people to do. Once you have your loss for the day, cut it off so that you don't revenge trade. Just turn off your MT4, close it out, turn off your computer, go do something else. Or, if you have to uninstall MT4, if it's really that bad, then that might be the case too. So, it's really up to you, like what your problem is, Glenn. If you want to give me some details at some point, maybe not today because I'm gonna get off the live session, but if you want to come on the live session tomorrow and just give me details about why you revenge trade, right? Do you revenge trade right after, or do you revenge trade throughout the day? Because there's different things that you can do to fix that. Either you can walk away from your screen, call it a day from trading, or you can even uninstall the app if it's really that big of a problem. Just don't uninstall it on your phone because you can't put it back on your phone. It's on your computer. Just, you can delete it and then reinstall it the next day. So, there's different things that you can do to fix that, but it's just up to your specific needs, whether you're just an immediate revenge trader or you're the type of person that revenge trades throughout the day. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. Unfortunately, we had one loss for the breakout 2.0. Everything else was solid. There just isn't any other entries for us to take here. It's past 8, way past 8 actually. So I don't recommend anyone trade until maybe past 10. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades.com. Otherwise, you guys can message me on Telegram. My Telegram handle is Kodi Kai Trades. And I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any anything you want me to cover, just send me a message. Otherwise, I'll be back here, same place, same time tomorrow, as we continue on with this trading week and recover. And there goes US30 on its way back up. So if you guys are in this position, I do recommend closing it out when it makes it back in a profit. Otherwise, we'll see where it plays out. Inflation news tomorrow, so expect a lot of bullish pushes. right? It might not be bullish. It might just be a crazy spike and whipsaw at 5:30 tomorrow. So pre-market, we're going to see some crazy moves, and we'll see how we'll manage that tomorrow during the live session. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you guys here.